Hi fellow crocheters, it's Janet with CrochetPatternsForBeginners.com. Thank you so much for stopping by today. We are going to begin our journey with Graphgans. And we're going to see a lot of these this year from me because I'm very excited to do I wanted to do some modern crochet, and everything seems to be about typography and graphics in really modern and hot products that are selling this year. So let's get started and let's make some modern pieces. All right, I'm going to teach you how to do Graphgans with our free downloadable cross tile Graphgan crochet pattern. So there's going to be a link below. There's going to be a couple links below. The first link I want you to go to though is our intro to Graphgans link. That's going to explain what you can expect with our Graphgan patterns and just a little bit more of the details. And then after that, go ahead and go to the website and download your pattern. What are you going to get with your pattern? There's going to be a couple of files. The first thing that you're going to need to do is you're going to read the tutorial. Okay, it says read first on the file. Please do that. Every tutorial that's included with our Graphgans has details of the three components or elements of each pattern. And the first is the graph. You can crochet with our patterns in a couple different ways, and that's explained in the tutorial video. But this graph in particular is just one page, so that's important to note. So read this first, and then you'll get the hacks, you'll get how to do color changes, all that stuff. All right, the next thing that you're going to get is the written pattern itself, and I need you to download this because you're going to want to follow along. Okay. The third thing is the graph itself. If you like to crochet Graphgans following a graph row by row with the pattern, you can do that. Either way is good. All right, let's get started. What will you need? You'll need a pair of scissors. You will need an H or 5.0 crochet hook. You will need a yarn needle. And you will need 2 colors of yarn. Today I am using Red Heart Super Saver, a Ron Fleck, which is one of my go-tos for Graphgans. And you're going to need about, let's see what the pattern says. The pattern tells you will need about 40 yards of this color, which is the background color, and you will need about 20 yards of the black, which is the design color. Okay. All right, so go ahead and grab your written pattern. We're going to be crocheting row by row today. And I've already checked off some of the rows just because I was checking some things, but you're also going to need a pen because I want you to check off the rows as you go. So start out and go ahead and chain your 21 and put your first row of single crochet down, and that will give you 20 stitches. Today we're always going to be working over 20 stitches. There's no increasing or decreasing involved in this pattern. And on top of that, it is 1 stitch. It is just a single crochet stitch. So go ahead and get your chain and your first row in black or your whatever color you're using, and you should have 20 stitches and 1 row of single crochet. You can stop the video and then meet us back here when you're ready. All right. We're going to go ahead and we're going to go into the second row and make sure that you check off that you've chained and check off row 1 because we're going to go right row by row here. Okay. The second row is when you want to introduce your second color. Sometimes the you'll be working with 2 colors right from the first row, that's okay. I know that some people recommend that you just add the second color when you're ready to change stitches. I do not recommend that. And the reason for that is because as you get going, you're going to see that no matter how tight you crochet, how carefully you crochet, you're still going to be able to peep through and see a little bit of that design color. And that's okay. It's a Graphgan. Just expect it. If you want it to look better, grab some of this Aran Fleck, and I'll put a link toward this so you can get it from Amazon if you want. This has different color flecks in it. And so if you use one of the colors of the flecks, which is like a light brown, a black, and a gray, and there's even a little bit of blue in here, it looks like, then you won't notice the color as much. But you're still going to see a little bit of it, not too much, but just know that that's normal and it's going to happen. All right, so I've already laid out my first row and I have chained 1. I'm just going to go ahead and take my hook out for just a second here because I need to join my background color. Okay, so I'm just going to do that right in the chain from the chain from when we added our first row, and just pull a loop through. Okay, now from this point forward, we're always going to be working with 2 colors. So it's super, super, super important that you follow me with this and do this exactly the way I'm telling you to do it. And if you do it, your yarn will never get twisted. It will always stay the same. Okay. We are going to keep our background color in the front and our design color in the back. Okay, just keep the background color in the front and the design color in the back, and you won't get your yarn twisted. Okay, you have added or joined your design color. Let's pull down and tighten that border color, the first color, back up. Now we're into row 2, and row 2 says black 3. So we're going to want to crochet in single crochet, remember, 3 stitches in black. But let's just do 2 first. So 1, 2. Okay. We've done our 2 stitches. It calls for 3. So when we get ready, when we're looking at the pattern and we see black 3, white 14, black 3, always look ahead. So you should know that when you hit the 3rd single crochet in that cluster, you will need to get ready to change yarn for the next color. And you're going to do that by crocheting in the single crochet in your black, but you're not going to close the stitch out with the same color. You're going to close the stitch out with the next color. What happens when you do that? You'll have a smooth color change. If you're working with words or whatever design, you'll be able to see the design much clearer. And it's crisper. The lines are better. So we want to do that every single time we change color. So it's important to look just a little bit ahead when you're working with this pattern. If you were following along on the graphs always go from right to left. So you would see right here, you have 20 stitches that you're working with. It's always single crochet, so that would indicate that you'd have to chain 21. You'd lay out your 20 stitches in single crochet. Now you're on row 2, so now you're working from left to right. So you can see here on the graph, it's 3 black, and then the rest white, and then 3 black. And if you look on the written pattern, it'll tell you that it's 14 stitches in between, and etc. without me counting. Okay. Going back to the written pattern, which is how I do my Graphgans, I am on my color change now. Now we have to begin carrying our yarn. And again, keep your white in front and your black in back, or your design color in the back and your background color in the front. And now we will single crochet our 14 in the white. And what this means is we have to carry this yarn, this black yarn, on top of our stitches. It's a little hard to see here, but the black yarn is laying right on top of the stitches. So if we were to pull out the row, this is what we would see. We would see the black yarn just laying right on top, and that's called carrying the yarn. So you're going to carry this color across 14 stitches, and then we're going to switch back. So it's important that when we get to that 14th stitch, we don't close it out. So here we go. 1, and see how I'm just carrying that yarn? I'm crocheting right over it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We're going to stop right here for just a second, and we're going to make sure that we've carried our yarn. See, there's our yarn right there. And sometimes you just, at this point, you always want to check, because you want to make sure. Every now and then you could drop the carry color and you've got this loop of yarn in the back, and you don't want that. So if you want to save yourself some time and effort, definitely check the back just to make sure that you're carrying the yarn and you're crocheting over that yarn, because that's what carrying means. You're just crocheting right on top of it. Okay, so now I lost my count, but it's good because it's easy to find. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, so we have 3 more to go. 12, 13. Now remember, we said 14, so we're going to go ahead and get that color into it, get that stitch in there, but we're gonna close now the stitch with our design color. Now what this means is keep your yarn, keep your white pulled forward, so you're actually going to be pulling it over, and that's okay. Make sure that it's in the front, and then close it out with the black or the design color. Give it a little tug just to secure the stitch, and finish out the last 3 stitches in black. 1. Now you're carrying the white yarn, and you could probably see that a little bit easier. See how that works? You're carrying it right on top. So we need to do 2 more stitches. 2, 3. Okay. Now, a hack that I do whenever I come to the end of my row, in order to keep my rows nice and neat, because you're working with 2 pieces, so it tends to pull a little bit or get wavy. You don't want to do that. So after every row, the first thing I do is I just give both sides a gentle little tug, and see that flattens it right out. Don't pull it so hard that you're stretching it. That's not what I mean. Just a gentle tug. And then on this last stitch, pull up just a little bit, just a tiny gentle tug again on the end, so that the stitch doesn't flatten out or go tight. Okay, we're going to chain 1 in our black, because our next row starts with 2 black. So let's go ahead and check off row 2. And what we're going to do here is we are going to do together, we're going to do 3 more rows, and then after that, I'm going to let you loose on your own, and you're going to crochet up until row 12. Okay, so we've turned. Now we're turning our work. Now it's important right here to check that white. Just give it a little tug, okay? And again, now you've turned, so what do you need to do? You need to take your background or your white and again, always bring that forward. Okay, so you're going to be carrying this now, the white yarn, for 2 stitches. So let's just go ahead and do our first 2. 1, 2. Now because we're only doing 2 stitches, we want to close out the stitch with the color change of our next color, which is white. Okay, so we're back to carrying our yarn. The pattern says to do 2 in black, which we've done. Now we need to do 16 in white. Carrying our black yarn, keeping our white in front. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Okay, so again on the 16th one, I don't want to close it out with this because it's the last stitch before my color change, but I do want to make sure that I'm pulling that white yarn a little bit forward when I close it out. Close out my single crochet with the black with the color change. Give this a little gentle tug. All right, now carry the white yarn for the last 2 stitches. And if this seems awkward at first, it's okay. It's something new and you are working with 2 colors. So don't give up. You're going to really, really enjoy this once you get the technique down. And believe me, you'll buzz through it. Just once you get going, it's just like anything else. You'll buzz right through it. Okay, see how we're pulling up a little bit? So we don't want to do that. So we want to just go ahead and give it a gentle little tug and flatten it out. And what we're really doing is we're just really pulling out that black yarn or that carried yarn to just let it lay flat. Okay, let's go ahead and chain 1 and turn. All right, when we turn, we got to make sure that we bring that white yarn, that background yarn, around, not the tail, don't do that, to the front. Okay, so we've got our background yarn in the front and our design yarn in the back. Okay, let's go ahead and check off our row. We just did row 3. Row 4. Row 4 says black, so that's 1 black, 8 white, 2 black, 8 white, 1 black. Okay. We're going to color change right away. So what you're going to want to do is go ahead and just start with the black, close it out with the white. Okay, so we're going to carry the black now. Our white is in front, our black is in back. And we are going to do 8 in white. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Looking ahead, we know that our 8th stitch was our last stitch in this color for this section. So we're going to go ahead and close it out with the black, keeping the white in the front and the black in the back. And we are going to do 2 in black. 1, 2. We're going to go ahead, close out with the white. And we are going to do 8 with the white. We're going to carry the black and 8 in white. 1, 2, whoops, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, close out with the black, and our last one is in black. All right, give it a little flatten out. Now I'm glad that this happened because sometimes this just happens. See, we've got that little bump there. That's because I didn't pull the yarn, the carry yarn enough. So I'm just going to show you how to fix that. It's no big deal. Just go ahead and find a loop toward the end, give it a little tug, and you'll see it came out, and then work it in over here, and you'll be all set right into your border. Okay, so here we are. We have done our last stitch, and we're going to chain 1, and I'm going to redo that because I didn't follow my own hack, and I didn't really pull up on that stitch when I was closing it to make it so that it's going to lay flat. There we go. That's better. Okay. Let's go ahead and chain 1 and let's turn. Keep the white in the front, the black in the back, and make your turn. Okay. Check off your work. That was row 4. Now we're into row 5. We're going to do row 5 together, and then you guys are going to go up to row 9. Okay, row 5 is black, white 7, black 4, white 7, black. Okay. 1 black, sorry, closing out. I'm just going to secure it down. Let's keep the white front, carrying the black, secure it. I always secure it with just, pinching. Some people do the pinky. I don't do the pinky. The pinky makes me nuts. But I secure it between these 2 fingers. Okay, so we've done that first one, and now we need to do 7 in white. So, whoops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, 7. Bring your white forward, change it out, and we will need to do 4 in black. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, change it out. And we are at 7 in white and 1 in black. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, keep the white in front. Close it out for the color change, and we've got 1 in black. Pull it up a little bit on the edge and close it out. Okay, gentle tug. chain 1, set yourself up for the next row, turn, pull your design yarn forward, pulling your back yarn forward, keeping your design yarn in the back. Okay, let's check off row 5. I want you to do row 6, row 7, row 8, row 9, and row 10, and meet me back here when you've done those rows and do row 11, and we'll do row 11 together. Excuse me, I want you to do rows 1 through 11 and meet me back when you're ready to hit row 12. Rows 1 through 11, meet me back to hit row 12. Okay, great, you guys. We've completed rows 1 through 11. Now we're going to do row 12. Row 12 is where I wanted us to meet back because there's quite a few color changes here. So once you can conquer row 12, you're on your way to Graphgans. It's that easy. Row 12 says black, 1 black, 3 white, black, 4 white, 2 black, 4 white, black, 3 white, black. All right. 1 black, and by now you can start seeing the pattern, and that will help you too. As you can see here, you can tell that the black one is the border, the in-between is the background, and then we're building our cross. Right now we're getting ready to actually do the cross part, but we've built the post so far. And that's another thing that's neat, I think, about Graphgans is that you can actually see the design as it goes in progress. Right, so we just did our 1 in black. Now we're going to do 3 in white. 1, 2, 3. Okay, keep the white in the front, the black in the back, and close it out. Okay, now we're going to carry the white, and we are going to do 1 in black. 1 in black. Okay, so when we do 1, we just have to close out with the next color. Secure it down, keeping the white in the front, the black in the back, or the design color in the back. Now we need to do 4 white. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, keep the white in the front, the black in the back. Closing out our last stitch of that color with the new color. We need 2 in the black, 1, 2, keeping the white in the front, the black in the back, closing out with our white. And now we're going to need 4 white. 1, 2, 3, 4, keeping the white in the front, black in the back, closing out with our new color. And we need 1 black, 1 black, closing out with the white. Give it a little tug to secure. Check your back to make sure that you haven't dropped any stitches. Okay. Can you see what just happened here? Do you see that right there? I actually dropped the color. Oh no, I'm sorry, I did not. Okay, that's all right. I thought I did, but I didn't, so no problem there. That was just the color change. Excuse me. No need for alarm. I haven't dropped in a while, but you know, I'm not perfect, so I could. Okay, now our last is white 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, white forward, black, closing out with the black, and our last stitch is in black. Okay, gentle tug, remember, chain 1, and turn, bringing the white to the front, leaving the black in the back. Okay, let's check off row 12. Okay, you guys can do the rest of this. Go ahead and finish out rows 13 through rows 22. And rows 22, and meet me back and when you finished row 22, and I'm going to show you how to put a border on. Okay. Okay, I have a correction to make. I know you've probably already done row 22, and I'm so sorry about that. When I finalize the video, I'm going to try to put a little thing in there that says stop at row 20 after row 21. Because what I want you to do when you get to row 22 after you finish 21 is go ahead and just cut off your background yarn, okay, and just work row 22 with your black or your design yarn. So go ahead and do that, and then I'm going to show you how to do a border that will weave in your tails. So we're just going to finish this right across here. And our 20 stitches, our last row. Can you believe it? So proud of you guys. You did it. Good job. Okay. We're almost done here. Alright, so I just put down row 22. Okay, make sure you're flat. It looks good. Alright, now I want you to chain one. Don't cut your yarn because we're going to put a border on this guy. So go ahead and I want you to do 3 single crochets into the same stitch. So you've done 1 already, so 1 more. So that was 2 and 3, and this is how you're going to turn. Okay, now we have 22 rows here, so we want to make sure that we get in our 22 single crochets, and this is going to clean up this border right here. Okay, the first one obviously goes right there. Okay, the second one, see, that's now we've done 2, so we need 20 more. Okay, there's our next one. 3. There's our next one. 4. There's our next one. 5. 6. 7. 8. And you'll know you're doing it right. You should have just a slight little turn here, and we're going to fix that when we come around to the end. So I lost my count. 1, 2, 3, 9, because the first one counts. 10, 11, 12, 13, just keep going. All the way down. 19, 20, oops, 20, 21, and 22. Okay, so I've hit that 22nd stitch, and I'm going to do 2 more into that same stitch, and that's going to make my corner. See now? See how that's, we're just getting ready to go around. Now this is what where it's really important. This is your foundation chain right here, so it's not going to be as identifiable, the stitches, as this one up here. That's okay. We're just going to count it out, and if you make a mistake, just go back and get to the right stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, sorry, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. Okay, that corner is a little tricky. So I just hit my 20th stitch. Okay. So I had to put 2 more in that corner. 1, 2. Now I have to do 22 single crochets. And what we're going to do here is we're going to bury our tails. All right, as much as we can, of course. So we're going to want to go ahead and just hit that 1, go right into the rows, 2, I'm just carrying that yarn right over, 3, 4, 5, 6. When it gets to that point, just let it go. You're going to trim that off. You've already covered it with your stitches, so you're going to be okay. 7. Oops, I didn't go right into the row. 8, 9, 10. See how much neater that's already looking? 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. That corner one's always a little tricky. It's okay. Pull that yarn around. Okay, so 2 more in the corner. 1, 2. Okay, now this is where we started, right over here. Okay, so just go ahead and give your piece just a gentle little tug, and if you've got a little bit of white on here, it's okay. It's not a big deal. If you want to put another border on it, that's okay too. I'm just going to go ahead and clip this right here. This is what you do at the end to take care of that. So where was I? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, oops, 19. Okay, when we hit stitch number 19, go ahead and just do a slip stitch, which is just pull the yarn through just like that, because you're right at the corner. And there you go, you did it. Okay, now we're just going to cut our yarn. And with our yarn needle, normally I don't do this on all these projects, but I want to show you everything. Go ahead and just, you're going to weave your tail. And what I do with this is I always go with the color, so I'm in the border. So I'm just going to weave my tail right through the edge stitches when I get to the point where I need to, and I should go down a little bit more, that's not going to be secure. Not at all. That will come out if I need to wash it or something. It's not cool. Okay, so let's just go ahead and keep going here. All right. Now I can clip it. All right. Congratulations, you just did your first Graphgan. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and don't forget to check out our website with more patterns and watch for Graphgan patterns because there's lots more coming. Have a great day and happy hooking.